Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Knows.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Comedy this hour, Lucille-Ball, Richard Denning, an episode of My Favorite Husband, in what a lot of people, and myself included, like to consider the predecessor to I Love Lucy. My Favorite Husband was, of course, based on this novel by Isabel Scott, I keep forgetting her name, I believe it's Isabel Scott Rourke, and yes, Isabel Scott Rourke. But what made this the transition from My Favorite Husband to I Love Lucy so special and so consistent, even though the characters' names changed and the locations changed, is the fact that the writers were the same. Bob Carroll Jr., Madeline Pugh Davis, Jess Oppenheimer all continued. And they took a lot of those episodes of My Favorite Husband, reworked them for I Love Lucy. Of course, like I said, the circumstances were different. But let's listen to this episode of My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball and Richard Denning, May 28th, 1950.
It's time for My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball.
Jell-O, everybody.
Yes, it's the Gay Family series starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning, transcribed and brought to you by the Jell-O family of desserts.
J-E-L-L. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. That's Jell-O.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jell-O puddings, yum, yum, yum. Jell-O tapioca puddings, yes, sirree.
And now, Lucille Ball with Richard Denning as Liz and George Cooper, two people who live together and like it. And now, let's look in on the Coopers. It's evening, and we find Liz and George in the living room. George is reading the newspaper, and Liz has just sat down on the arm of his chair with something obviously on her mind.
Hi, George.
Hello there.
How are you, George, baby doll?
Fine, Liz. Don't blow in my ear, Liz. That tickles.
Okay, I won't.
Oh, what are you doing? Putting your ear next to mine like that?
You have such a shell-like ear. I thought maybe I could hear the ocean roar.
Look, little girl, take your bucket and shovel and go play somewhere farther down the beach.
George,
Yes.
I want to talk to you about something.
Okay, Pumpkin, what is it?
Well, I was downtown today, and I just happened to go by Kramer's department store. And do you know what they had in their front window?
Tell me, I can't wait.
A spring dress.
What won't they think of next?
Oh, it was the cutest dress I've ever seen, and just exactly what I need to fill out my spring wardrobe.
Oh, that's nice.
I really wanted to buy it, but I thought I ought to tell you about it first and get your reaction. Now, what do you think I ought to do?
I think you ought to go in and put it on and show it to me.
Why, George Cooper.
I'm sorry, honey. I thought you'd already bought it.
Apologize.
Well, after all...
Apologize, or I won't put the dress on and show it to you.
I thought so. That's the way it always happens. How much?
It was only $39.50.
$39.50?
George, you're getting red in the face. Don't bulge your veins at me.
Oh, but $39.50 for one little dress.
But, George, now wait till I tell you. I made $20 by buying that dress.
You made $20?
Uh-huh. I bought the dress on sale at Kramer's for $39.50, and the identical same dress is selling at Gordon's for $59.50. So I made $20.
Yes, but you don't have that $20.
I know I don't. I spent it on a hat to go with the dress.
Oh, Liz, for heaven's sakes, $59.50 for one outfit.
But, George, I have to have some new clothes once in a while.
You're going to take that dress back to Kramer's and get your money back.
Oh, George.
I hate to be harsh, Liz, but we've got to stop this spending spree you're on.
Well, couldn't we stop it next time?
No. I've got to teach you a lesson. Now, you don't need that dress at all, so you can just take it back.
But it's such a cute little dress.
Sorry?
It's navy blue with white polka dots.
No, Liz.
It's got a little white collar with a sash in the back.
You're breaking my heart. Crying won't get you anywhere.
Well, it doesn't hurt to try. Okay, George, I know when I'm licked. I'll take the dress back. Oh, pardon me, miss. Could you tell me where the refund department is?
Oh, there goes somebody's commission. Through that door there.
Thank you. Is this the refund department?
Yes. Can't you see the sign on the door? If you're not satisfied with your purchase, your money will be cheerfully refunded.
Cheerfully refunded?
Yes.
Well, look, laughing boy. I'm Mrs. George Cooper, and I'd like to return this...
Oh, never mind, I know. Everybody who comes in here wants to return something. They hand me dresses, they hand me shoes, they hand me bags, they hand me coats.
I hope they hand you a handkerchief once in a while.
All day long I make out return slips. I had to go to the doctor last week. I was seeing charger plates in front of my eyes.
Well, I won't take very long. Just give me my money, please.
Certainly, I'll make out the form. The dress was too large for you, hmm?
No.
Too small?
No, it was just right.
The color didn't match the drapes when you got it home.
No, the color was wonderful.
The style was bad.
No, the style was excellent.
Your cat was allergic to the material.
I don't have a cat.
Mrs. Cooper, let me get this straight. The dress was the right size, the cut was fine, the style was wonderful, the color was out of this world. In other words, the dress was simply dreamy.
Yes, I loved it.
Then what are you doing in here?
I'd like my money, please. Your sign says your money is refunded if you aren't satisfied.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Cooper. I can't give you the money back on that dress.
Why not?
Because you are satisfied. Now be honest with me. Why do you want your money back?
Well, if you must know, my husband didn't like it.
What's the matter? Can't he wear polka dots?
I mean, he didn't like that I bought it. He says we can't afford to spend the money.
Yeah, but that's no reason. Why, Mrs. Cooper, this 14-story mass of steel and concrete was built with money that husbands can't afford to spend.
I'd like my money, please. Look, I've been buying clothes at your store for 10 years, and I'll buy for another 10 years. But right now, I'm in the middle of a temporary clamp down.
Very well, Mrs. Cooper. Here's your money. Oh, no, I forgot. Your money is cheerfully refunded.
Thank you.
Liz, wait a minute.
Well, Iris Atterbury, what are you doing here?
Spending too much money just like you are.
Oh, you're wrong there. Remember that little polka dot dress I bought?
Yeah?
George made me bring it back. From now on, whenever I buy anything, I'm going to put it on the end of a long elastic.
Did you take credit or did they give you your money back?
Oh, I got my money. Let's see. 20, 30, 40, 50. Wait a minute. 59.50. They gave me too much money.
Well, that doesn't sound like Gordon's to me.
Gordon's? Isn't this Kramer's?
It was Gordon's when I came in.
Oh, I brought my dress back to the wrong store. I paid $39.50 for it at Kramer's, and now Gordon's have given me $59.50. Well, there's only one thing to do.
Sure. Run and spend it before they catch you.
No, I'll have to take the money back. It isn't fair to Gordon's. Or is it?
Uh-oh. Liz, I can hear the wheels grinding from here. What are you dreaming of?
Well, look, Iris, I bought the dress at Kramer's, and I paid for it, so they aren't out anything, right?
Right.
And I brought it back to Gordon's, and they'll sell the dress for the same amount they paid me, so they won't be out anything, right?
Right.
And I've got $20 extra.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, it is. I'll see you later.
Well, Liz, wait. Where are you going?
Where else? Back to Kramer's for more dresses.
May 28, 1950, My Favorite Husband on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station, May 28, 1950, My Favorite Husband.
As we return to the Coopers, we find Liz in a little gold mine called Kramer's Department Store, in the hope that she can dig up a few more polka dot dresses for $39.50 and return them to Gordon's Department Store for $59.50. She's just entering the dress department.
Oh, miss, I'd like to buy a dress, please.
Okay, dearie. What did you have in mind?
That navy blue one with the white polka dots.
Okay. What size?
Any size will do. It doesn't matter.
Any size? Well, who's it for?
A friend.
What's the matter? Don't friends come in sizes anymore?
Just give me one of those dresses.
Could she wear a size 20, large?
Yes, that'll be fine.
How about a small size 10?
That'll do just as well.
Boy, I'd like to meet that friend of yours. Say, didn't I sell you one of these dresses yesterday?
Yes, and I'd like another one. In fact, you'd better make it 2.
2? How come you don't want 2 more dresses when you got one just like it?
Do you really want to know how come I 2?
Yeah.
I'm one of the Andrews sisters.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Which are you, Patty, Maxine, or Laverne?
Neither. I'm their brother, Dana.
I believe you.
Now, wait a minute.
Here's your dresses, but understand they're on sale. You can't return them.
Don't worry, I won't return them. Just charge these. Say, how many more dresses like this do you have?
Oh, these are the last, dearie.
Oh, that's too bad. I could have handled 20 or 30 more this afternoon. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey, Sadie, do you see that dame that just left? She's nuts.
Iris?
George, what are you doing here at Gordon's? If you're looking for Liz, she's over at Kramer's.
Oh, thanks, but I don't want to see Liz. I'm buying her something for a surprise.
Really? What is it?
Well, I made her take back a dress this morning, and I got to thinking I was a little rough on her. So I thought I'd buy her one just like it and surprise her.
Oh, she told me about it.
Well, I tried to buy the dress Liz wants over at Kramer's, but the sales girl over there told me she sold the last ones they had to the Andrews sisters.
Oh?
Well, look, Iris, I'm on my lunch hour. I've got to run. Where's the dress department?
Well, it's up on the 5th floor.
Oh, thanks. I'll see you later.
like to return these 2 dresses and get a refund.
Say, didn't you ask me that once before today?
Yes.
Well, the answer hasn't changed. You go to the same office and see Mr. Quigley.
Well, that's just it. Isn't there someone else? If Mr. Quigley saw me with these dresses, he'd scream.
Well, the door to the left of Mr. Quigley's is Mr. Brown's, his assistant.
Oh, thank you. I'll go there. Oh, how do you do, Mr. Brown? I'd like to... Oh, dear.
Mr. Brown is out right now. Oh, it's you. What do you want now?
Well, Mr. Quigley, I'd like to get a refund on these. Ah! I told her you would.
2 more, Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
The same kind?
Yes.
I can't stand it any longer. I should never have taken this job. I was so happy in ladies' lingerie.
I'd like my money, please.
Oh, it was so peaceful there. All you could hear was the rustle of silk, broken now and then by the soft snap of a garter.
If I'm not too monotonous, I'd like my money, please.
Mrs. Cooper, I'm not one to quibble, but...
Pardon me, Mr. Quigley, but I've been checking on dress number 808.
The very one we have under discussion here.
Well, how many did you buy?
35.
I thought so. Then how is it we now have 36?
Well, goodbye, Mr. Quigley.
Sit down, Mrs. Cooper. Mrs. Cooper, you brought us in a dress this morning. You've got 2 more just like it with you now. Would you mind telling me where you got them?
I made them on an old hand loom.
Oh, really? Do you expect me to believe that you made those 3 dresses?
Would you believe I made 2 of them?
No, Mrs. Cooper. I'm not going to accept those 2 dresses. And what's more, I'm going to give you back the dress you brought in this morning. And Mrs. Cooper...
Yes?
I'd like my money, please.
Pardon me, young lady. Could I see those 3 dresses you have over your arm? They look like they'd be just right for an old lady like me.
I beg your pardon?
But I tried to buy one of those over in the department, but they didn't have my size. Oh, I do love blue and white polka dot dresses, don't you?
Love them? I collect them.
What size are these?
Oh, you probably think I'm the clerk. See, these dresses aren't for what size do you wear?
Well, I'm sort of tiny. I wear a 10.
Well, fortunately, I have a 10.
No.
Yes, and you'd better hurry. This offer is not likely to be repeated.
Oh, well, I'll take it. I needed to go to a dance tonight.
You're going to a dance?
Oh, I'd fool you. You should see me dance with my partner. We get around like a couple of 65-year-olds.
What kind of dances do you do?
Oh, we all went to Arthur Murray's and learned the Lindy Crawl.
You mean the Lindy Hop?
Not the way we do it. How much is the dress?
$59.50?
No, I'll take it. Here's the money, and I'll just run along. You see, I'm in a hurry.
All right. See you around the bandstand.
Valturini. See you later, sister.
Goodbye. Say, maybe I can get rid of these other 2 dresses, too.
Oh, I think I like these dresses with the blue and white polka dots. How much are they?
$59.50.
Psst. Hey, lady.
Were you addressing me?
Yeah, step in a little closer. You're blocking traffic. Now, don't buy that dress. Step over here. I'm in a position to sell you the very same thing at a sensational reduction in price.
Hi, this is my customer.
Get away, kid. You bother me.
Well, I'm going to see the manager about this.
Is there something wrong with this dress? Who are you?
Now, you've heard of me. Honest Liz Cooper, the biggest used dress dealer in town.
Is this a used dress?
Oh, no. It was just worn by an elderly couple from Pasadena.
Well,
give me $39.50 and I'm losing money on the deal.
Well, I can't pass up a bargain like that. Here's the money.
Here's your dress. Sure you couldn't use two of them?
Oh, no thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Come back tomorrow. I'll give myself a hot foot and have a fire sale.
Young lady, what do you think you're doing?
I'm selling polka dot dresses like hotcakes. Want to buy one?
Young lady, I am the floor walker.
Ooh, I don't think the floor walker could use a polka-dotted dress. May 28, 1950. My Favorite Husband on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite radio station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you've seen any I Love Lucy, you know this sure does sound like it, doesn't it? My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball and Richard Denning, May 28, 1950.
She stole my customer.
I did not. Go ahead, search me.
I have a good mind to take you in to Mr. Quigley.
Oh, no, not that, please.
Well, I'll give you one more chance. Go on, wait on that customer over there.
Oh, I can't wait on him. That's George.
What's that?
I said I can't wait till I sell him something. Bye, George.
Go ahead. I'll be watching you.
Oh, here it comes. Maybe this'll hide my face.
Hey, put back that hat. I was just showing it to a lady.
Well, I need it more than you do.
But what are you putting it on for? That veil hides your face.
I'm in mourning.
Why? Because your hair's dyed?
Oh, I hope George doesn't recognize my voice. Can I help you, mister?
What?
You want I should show you some merchandise, hey?
Yes. Say, isn't it unusual for a salesgirl to wear a hat with a dark veil?
Oh, that. Yeah, it is unusual, kinda. But I'll let you in on a little secret. See, I'm not a regular salesgirl.
Oh, you're not?
No. I'm an Oriental princess gathering material for a book. It's practically a saga.
Really? Take off your veil and let me see your face.
No, there is a curse on me. You see, if you looked at my face, there would be a death in your family.
No.
Yes.
Well, miss, I'd like to see a dress like the one you have over your arm.
Okay, here.
I wonder if this will fit my wife.
Yeah, it's just her... I can just imagine what a fella like you would marry. I can just see her tall with maybe red hair and a beautiful figure and a gorgeous face.
Brother, have you got a bad imagination?
Oh, yeah? That's so.
Well, you don't have to get upset about it. What's it to you?
Well, I'm very sensitive about my imagination, that's all. Do you want the dress or don't you, hey?
Well, I guess so. Here's the money, but I wish I could be sure it would fit her.
Well, I'll tell you what. This dress will fit me perfectly. Does she have a figure like mine, maybe?
No. No, she's much dumpier than you are.
Oh, she is. Oh, she is?
She wishes she had a figure like yours. And confidentially, so do I.
Well, of all the...
Hey! Why'd you slap me?
That's for your wife, you big masher.
I'll report you to the management.
Go run up a down escalator. Did you like dinner, dear?
Ah, yes, fine.
George, thanks for the dress.
What dress?
The one you're going to surprise me with in a minute.
Oh, you found the box in the closet.
Yes, and I think you were very sweet to buy it for me.
Oh, honey, you should have seen the salesgirl who waited on me. Oh, she was a real creep.
Oh? Tell me all about her, George.
Oh, who cares about her? Honey, I'm glad you like the dress. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to do.
What?
I'm going to buy you a hat to go with it, hey.
What?
You're not a very good salesgirl, Liz.
How do you like that? He knew it all the time, hey.
You have been listening to My Favorite Husband, starring Lucille Ball with Richard Denning, and based on characters created by Isabel Scott Rorick. Tonight's transcribed program was produced and directed by Jess Oppenheimer, who wrote the script with Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. Original music was composed by Marlon Skiles and conducted by Wilbur Hatch.
May 28th, 1950, My Favorite Husband on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Alrighty, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, it's time for us to start a brand new Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story. This episode, or this five-part series, entitled The Reasonable Doubt Matter. Episode 1 was originally broadcast May 28th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Ben Gartley, Johnny, Amercon Northern Trust.
Oh, hiya, Ben. What do you hear from Wall Street?
Save your money.
What money?
The money I'm going to pay you for this case. I've got a crazy one, Johnny.
So naturally you thought of me.
Nothing personal. Look, it's a trust setup. Cumulative endowment insurance rider. Big deal. Over $250,000, maybe $500,000.
From whom to whom?
From a Mrs. Ezra Gramley, widow, to her granddaughter, Susan.
So?
Mrs. Gramley owns the Flint Rock Ranch in Nevada.
Never heard of it.
Our representative out there is Jonas Parks. He's the president of the Flint Rock First National Bank.
Never heard of it.
It's a whistle stop about 20 miles from Las Vegas.
That I've heard of.
Parks started the deal rolling, and then he got cold feet, and now he's yelling for help. Thinks the old lady may be crazy. I mean, literally. And there does seem to be a reasonable doubt.
Unless Parks himself is crazy.
Well, that's also a possibility, Johnny.
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office, Amercon Northern Trust Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the matter of reasonable doubt. Item 1, $154.40, transportation and incidentals, Hartford to Las Vegas, Nevada, where I checked into a hotel and then phoned the local office of a National Business and Credit Rating Bureau that my client retained on a permanent consulting basis. I asked for a rundown on Jonas Parks and got it. An A1 set of references. Parks had been a resident of Nevada for 32 years and president of the Flint Rock Bank for 17. He was regarded locally as a cautious investor, a prudent financial advisor, scrupulously honest, and as sound as a dollar. A silver dollar. Crazy? Hardly. Item 2, $32.50. Deposit and first day's rental on a drive-it-yourself hired car. Mileage, Las Vegas to Flint Rock, 23.6. Itemized building appraisal, Flint Rock. 3 bar casinos, all needing paint. 1 restaurant, 1 general store, barber shop, garage, welding shop, railroad depot, also needing paint. 4 dwellings, and of course 1 bank. Jonas Parks, president.
What can I do for you, young fellow?
Well, my name is Dollar, Mr. Parks, Johnny Dollar. I'm a special investigator for Amercon, and I'm here in regard to the Gramley Trust case.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm mighty glad to know you, Mr. Dollar. And I don't mind telling you I'm glad you got here.
Oh?
Here, pull up a chair.
Okay, thanks.
Sit down. It's been a real odd day. Funny-looking clouds hanging off there toward the river.
Yeah, I noticed them driving out from town.
Storm clouds, that's what they are.
This time of year?
Son, in this neck of the woods, it can happen any time of the year. Cloudbursts come up just like that, and they're over just as fast.
Uh-huh, that's very interesting.
You're a hypocrite, young fella.
What makes you think so?
You didn't come clear across the country to hear a dissertation on desert storms, so stop sitting there trying to pretend you're interested.
Whatever you say, Mr. Parks.
Matter of fact, you weren't even half listening to me.
No, as a matter of fact, I wasn't.
Well, what were you doing then?
Looking you over, sizing you up.
Come to any conclusions?
A couple.
Such as?
Well, in the first place, I'm inclined to discard the theory that you're crazy.
That what they told you in Hartford?
Well, they figure one of you is, either you or Mrs. Gramley.
They do, eh? And what is your second conclusion?
That you were sitting there sizing me up.
You're right. I was.
Come to any conclusions, Mr. Parks?
Yeah. One.
Such as?
That we'll probably get along together all right, you and me.
Good. Then suppose we get down...
The Gramley case. No wonder they thought what they did. Maybe they're right. Maybe we are crazy, both of us.
Well, as I understand it, Mrs. Gramley wanted to set up some kind of insured trust for her granddaughter. You started the proceedings for her, and then stopped cold and called for help.
Yes, that's about what happened.
Well, why? Was she financially unable to carry out the deal?
Of course she's able. I wouldn't need any outside help if that was the problem. She's been banking with me for mighty near 20 years.
Then is she mentally incompetent?
Sarah Gramley is as sane as... Well, at least I've always figured she was. But confound it, Mr. Dollar, there's something wrong out at that ranch.
Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know what I mean.
Well, if you don't...
I mean, it's mostly things you can't put your finger on. Little things that add up, finally.
Add up to what?
I don't know. It's just a feeling, kind of a...
A hunch? Is that what you mean?
Yes, if you want to put it that way. So I brought you clear out here from Hartford on a hunch. Go ahead, say it.
Relax, Mr. Parks, relax. I've had hunches of my own. And sometimes the horse is one.
But I don't even know why I think something is wrong.
All right, what's the setup out there at the ranch? What's the background?
Mrs. Gramley is a widow. Her husband died about 14 years ago, and she stayed on afterward and ran the ranch. Of course, her son Ed and his wife were there with her until 3 years ago and done most of the work.
And they moved out 3 years ago?
No, they were killed in an automobile accident. This girl, Susan, that Mrs. Gramley wanted to set up the trust for, is their daughter. She's going on 17 now.
Then the two of them live there alone?
No, there's another couple. Walter Gramley and his wife, Hilda. Walter's Mrs. Gramley's nephew. Sort of manages the ranch. Does a pretty good job of it, too.
Mm-hmm. Then that's the whole family. Mrs. Gramley, her nephew Walter and his wife, and her granddaughter Susan.
That's the family. For better or worse.
Mr. Parks, do you even have any idea as to what might be wrong?
Not the slightest. You're on your own, son.
Well, how did this trust business start? How did it come about?
Miss Gramley came into town one day about 2 months ago and sprung it on me out of a blue sky. First time she'd been in town, nearly a year.
Did she say why she wanted to set up the trust?
No. She said it was nobody's business but her own. She's changed a lot in the last year. She's not herself anymore.
And the trust was intended in its entirety for her granddaughter Susan?
That's right. Within the next 3 years, she wanted the whole estate transferred to the girl.
Did Susan know about it?
According to Mrs. Gramley, nobody knew about it, and she didn't want anybody to know.
All right, then. You started the ball rolling, and then you stopped it.
Her nephew, Walter, came in to see me last week. He knew something was up, and there was no use trying to lie to him. When I told him what she was doing, he said that she would never go through with it.
So?
Oh, I went out to the ranch to see her. Laid all the cards on the table. I told her what Walter had said.
Oh, what was her reaction?
She said maybe he was right. Maybe she wouldn't go through with it. Then she started rambling, not even making sense, talking about the auto accident and her son's death. But before I left, she told me again that I should keep pushing the trust, get it set up.
So you called for help?
I called for help.
Well, I guess I'd better go talk to the lady.
That's not going to be so easy.
Why not?
Walter won't let a stranger on the place.
You mean he's holding her captive?
No, I think he believes she's losing her mind and he's trying to keep it quiet.
And what do you believe, Mr. Parks?
I don't know.
Well, maybe we can find out.
I hope so. Just one thing, though. Be careful.
Of what?
I don't know.
Jonas Parks had one other suggestion. That I pretend to be a special investigator for the Cattlemen's Association. I agreed to try it. 4 miles from Flint Rock, the narrow ranch road left the plateau and began climbing up through the broken bluff country. 1.5 miles from the ranch house, I pulled out the choke, flooded the engine, and let the car cough to a stop, the old out-of-gas gimmick. And about 10 minutes later, I was wishing I'd thought of some other plan. When Parks said cloudburst, he wasn't exaggerating. The rain came down in sheets. In 60 seconds, I was soaked through. And in another 2 minutes, the dry ground was a muddy bog. I kept on walking, or trying to walk, and the footing got worse. By then, I'd had it, or at least I thought I had. I hit the mud, rolled into a pile of boulders, and pulled my gun. A man was riding slowly toward me on a horse, holding a rifle over his arm. I edged down between the rocks, took a sight on him, and waited.
Whoa there. Whoa.
He dismounted and walked toward me, carrying the rifle carelessly. Apparently, he thought he'd drop me. I let him get within 12 feet. All right, hold it. Drop that rifle. Get your hands up. I said drop it.
What's the idea?
Well, that's a good question. Only I'm the one to ask it.
You're trespassing. We've been losing cattle.
So I've heard.
What do you mean you've heard?
I'm an investigator for the Cattlemen's Association. Are you Walter Gramley?
Yeah, that's right. What do you expect to find sneaking in here on foot this way?
Not what I did find, at least. Look, I've got a car back there on the road. I ran out of gas. I understand the owner of the Flint Rock is a Mrs. Ezra Gramley.
Yeah, she's my aunt.
Well, I'd like to see her.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Why?
What's your name?
Dollar, Johnny Dollar.
Mr. Dollar, go back to your car and wait. I'll send some gasoline from the house.
Huh?
When you get it, turn that car around and get off the property. You're working for me, you know. I'm a member of the association. And you know as well as I do that you've got no more authority than any other private individual. So get out and stay out.
And if I don't?
Well, then you're a trespasser. And I won't miss twice. The next time I'll kill you. Is that clear?
It was clear. Perfectly clear. And at this point, I wasn't ready to force the issue. So I conducted an orderly, strategic withdrawal, and short I went back to the car. The rain stopped before I reached it. And a few minutes later, a station wagon came lumbering down the road from the ranch and braked to a stop a few yards away. The girl who came toward me carrying a 5-gallon gasoline can was a living little doll, a daffodil, as perky and bright as a brand new penny.
Hello there.
Hi.
I'm Susan Gramley, and you're Mr. Dollar, and you're out of gas, and I've got some for you.
Well, here, that's pretty heavy. Let me take that.
No, just stand back and avoid the splash. I'm an old hand at this. In fact, I'm a chronic empty tanker myself, and
What's the matter?
Out of gas, are you? Big deal, huh? That tank is almost full.
Yeah, well, there's no use lying to you, I suppose.
Nope, I'm too smart.
I see.
Another thing, you're not with the Cattlemen's Association, Mr. Dollar.
I'm not?
Nope. I think you're here to dig up the past because of what has happened and what might be going to happen.
All of that, huh?
Yep. And you know what? I think it's just fine and dandy.
You do?
You bet I do. I loved my dad. I loved him more than anything. They knew what he always did when he got mad. Sure they knew. I figured it out a long time ago.
Like to tell me about it, Susan?
You'll find out, Mr. Dollar. I think you're the kind of a man who smashes into things, right into the middle, and breaks them wide open. Be careful, though.
Oh?
Because you know something? You're smashing into a bomb.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, the dead past speaks in a musty morgue, or tries to. And a living lady gets cozy, or tries to. Really tries to. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
And that's part one of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, as it was originally broadcast May 28th, 1956, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me, find our social media links, and if you're so inclined, you can buy me a coffee. That Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections and helps us maintain our distribution channels. That's at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. You also find up there a list of places our shows are available via podcast. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.